Let's do it now.
Turn up the volume nice and loud. Cause we are controlling transmission. You're in the mix with Lil Drummer Girl. With your host, Dawn Marie. In the mix.
Welcome back to another episode of the Little Drummer Girl. Tonight we have a very special guest. We have Kurtis Parsons, known as Conga Kurty, in the house. Or should I say, in mi casa. Conga Kurty has played percussion and drums since the 6th grade, and he recorded his first album with Ja Roots from Jamaica in 1998. And he toured the West Coast and decided that the tour life wasn't for him at the time, so he went off and traveled through the Hawaiian jungle. He was only 18 years old, but then he decided he was going to go back to Washington State and hit the books. So off to college he went. He started a band there, and after 5 years and 2 albums later, with some more tours under his belt, he decided to move to Mexico and start his own juice bar and live out his remaining years surfing the remote beaches of Mexico. But as fate would have it, HIRIE came into town to do a Selfless Mexico tour, donating instruments, music lessons, orphanages, and less fortunate children. So mutual friends introduced them, and the rest has been history. So we've got a lot to cover, so let's get him on the line. Hey, Kurty, how's it going?
It's going great. How about yourself?
Doing awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time out to be here. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's definitely an honor, privilege for me, too. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my gosh. When I saw you guys a few weeks ago at the Reggae Rise Up, and it's the first time I was catching a HIRIE show, and I was already a fan of the music, but hadn't seen a live performance, and I was blown away. I mean, all of you guys out there rocked, and it was just so much fun. But I really loved watching you play because I felt like the way you got into your movements and when you were playing, it was like hypnotic. Is that something you've always done, or is it something that you just kind of fell into recently? How did that evolve?
Well, as far as, music goes, yeah, like I come from a long line of percussion. My grandma, she played the spoons, and my mom plays the spoons, rhythmic and very much danceable. As far as moves on stage go, honestly, it sounds kind of funny, maybe even cliche, but a lot of times I'm saying prayer on the stage, and I'm just giving thanks for that moment and just being in that space. And sometimes it transfers over, and people feel it, and I feel it, and it's just like a spiritual thing. Music for me it's more than just a job. It's very much like where I'm able to have my spiritual outlet on that stage. Is like there's something there. There's a moment, where I look up and sometimes even a couple tears will drop out of my eyes. Just that vibration and that gratitude for being in that space. It's pretty awesome.
I love hearing that because I feel like a lot of people can take things like that for granted, but the fact that you are so in tune with it and grateful for it, that's really huge, I think.
Yeah, it's a really important role, a thing in my life for sure.
You say you started drumming in the 6th grade, was it?
Yeah, that's when I actually started getting taught and learning specific patterns and reading music, and yeah.
There was a story that you mentioned about one of the teachers. Can you tell us about that story?
Yeah, sure. It's pretty interesting. I went to class, and it was the first day of middle school, and what he does is he gets everybody and he asks you what instrument that you want to play, and then he decides after talking to you what instrument you're gonna play. And of course, I wanted to play percussion and play drums. He gave me a pattern. I couldn't do the pattern like what he told me to do. So he actually told me that he thinks that I should play a saxophone. So kind of bummed out about it, but I went back and I told my mom, and she's really supportive, no problem. We went to a secondhand store. We bought a saxophone, a really old one of those silver ones, really cheap. And I was just, my heart was set on wanting to play percussion. So the very next day I brought in my saxophone. I sat in the saxophone section, but I met with the teacher afterwards. I told him, I said, my heart's set on percussion. What do I have to do? He gave me a couple different patterns, and I went home, and it took me about 2 weeks. I came back with those patterns, and he said, yeah, I can definitely move you to percussion. You have the patterns down, and it was pretty cool because it really made me, my personality, made me want it even more and work that much harder for it. So after some time had passed, I actually moved my way up to first chair and got put into the specialty band as a jazz band that were only hand selected by the teacher. So, persistence prevails.
That is enthralling. I love that because, a lot of people probably would have said, oh, okay, well, he said I can't do it, so I can't do it. And then you were like, no, but I can. And
it's pretty interesting that you say that because, yeah, I mean, I put a post on social media. You had asked for a bio, and I don't really have a bio. I put that in my bio, and I got quite a bit of response, and there was actually 2 people in the comments who went to the same teacher who wanted to play percussion, who told them they couldn't play percussion, and then they just kind of gave it up and didn't end up wanting to do that because the teacher said so. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it just says for anybody out there, anything that you really want, you just, that's such a small scale, but anything that you really want, you just can, you can get it. You can have it. Doesn't matter what people say.
But it wasn't a small scale because it's your future. It's your now.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really a small thing. I'm so happy to hear you say that. I always tell people, you know what, if you get knocked down, you just get back up. Or if somebody tells you no, just dismiss it because otherwise you'll never do the things that you're meant to do. And,
exactly.
It's amazing. I saw a video of you giving a tour of your juice bar in Mexico, and I fell in love with it, and I wanted to get Purple Lounge and go out in the back and have like a cava and just journal. How did you get into that? I mean, that's like really awesome.
Same thing, a little like serendipity thing. Like I was living up in the mountains of Washington State. There wasn't really any snow, so I grabbed my surfboard and I took a trip down to Cabo, San Lucas, and I grabbed my surfboard and I went surfing, and I ended up meeting the right people and talking to them. And there was some people that had a facility set up, and they said, hey, if you want to use this space, you're more than welcome. You can have this, it was a rundown little spot. It took some time and some money and talked to a couple small like investors in Washington State. There was a juice bar that I went to college out in Washington who donated, this awesome, $2,000 juicer. And then it seemed like everything just kind of fell into place. And was able to give a lot of work to the local people and pay them a lot more than the minimum wage down there is really, really low. So it was really nice to do like a conscious way of like working with the local community. And like I say in my bio, I'd work with the orphanage, and it just felt like a really good kind of retreat, a really good space to go. I got a lot of food allergies myself, so it kind of, there's a little bit of selfishness in there, for myself too, but it was really cool. There was no health food store in that town when I moved there 10 years ago, and so we brought, just whole foods and quinoa and just all kinds of natural foods, and this day it's still going. I'm not there anymore. I kind of outgrew it, or it outgrew me, and I just decided to come back up to San Diego so I could be closer with HIRIE, because they're, really taken off, and they've taken me under their wing and really just put me on since day one. They've just, it's been pretty exciting. I was just blown away with the energy that I picked from that show. It was just pretty amazing. Do you also play a drum set as well? I do play the drum set, but yeah, just more for fun and more for just kind of patterns. Cool. Yeah, I really like when I started my band in college, I was the drum kit player, and I like it a lot. It's a really good outlet, but the level of drummers and the talent of drum kit players is definitely above and beyond what I can bring to the table on the kit. But I do feel like I have a special gift on percussion, on hand percussion. I'm definitely not the best percussionist that I know, but I'm one of the most complimentary percussionists that I know, and I'm able to really put the accent in specialty little spots that everybody that I've ever played with just is really like, whoa, how did you do that? And it just kind of comes to me. So the percussion, I feel like, is more my gift and a talent than playing the kit, although I really love playing the kit, and that's definitely how I got started. Oh, very cool. Yeah, I mean, they're so different from each other, but yet the same. It's one of those things. Who were some of your influencers with the congas? Oh, there's just so many. I mean, I like to listen to the Latin percussion on Pandora, and I just kind of like let it run through, and any of the patterns that I hear, I'll just kind of just listen real close into. I've never really been big into picking out like a certain performer and just following one style. I know what I like when I hear it, and then I'll put it on replay. Right, so it's burned into the brain, right? Yes, or hopefully, yeah, that's the idea. What is your setup? Who do you use? I use mostly Latin percussion, but I also have tycoon percussion. Latin percussion is my congas and my bongos. I use the Remo djembe, mostly because it's so travel friendly. It's 100% made of, recyclable material. It's all synthetic, so there was no animals or anything harmed. I do still really like the traditional djembes, that they carve out of a tree, and they use, real skins. I definitely have a lot of respect for that. But as far as traveling and being on the road, if something was to happen or a head pops or something with the Remos, you can stop at any Guitar Center. And like I said, the company's pretty conscious, and they do everything with recyclable material, and they're really lightweight, and they just got like a real good sound. I also use the chimes, tree work chimes, and then Latin percussion.
Yeah, I saw those are beautiful.
Oh yeah, the tree work chimes my mom actually purchased for me about, I don't know how many years ago. Being in college, I didn't think it was like, a cool manly percussion thing to play. I wasn't really into it. But my mom was like, she was so persistent, like, you've got to have these chimes in there. And now to this day, I will not play my set without those chimes.
Yeah, it's amazing how things can turn around, right?
Absolutely. Mama knows that.
That's right.
I play with the shakiete. It's like I call it like a shaker, but the shakiete.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That was a good one. Where was that from? Is that from Africa?
Yep, the shakiete. Yeah, it's traditionally made in Africa out of gourds and also in Mexico. I've taken a couple courses in Mexico where they actually get the gourds naturally and dry them out and put beads inside and wrap them around with strings and beads. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, nothing really gets the sound like the Latin percussion shakiete that I play. I really like that one a lot.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it sounded great. I was still picturing the concert. It was like I still see you. It's so much fun. I can't believe how she jumps around that stage with those beautiful red heels. I'm just like, oh my gosh. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, the band, and yeah, especially with Trish, HIRIE, she definitely has a focus, and she has a work ethic. She's a wife and a mother, and just really inspirational. She brings the fire and the heat. She's like very, very genuine, real person. That's for sure.
Definitely. She made me think about something when she talked about something during the concert that day, and it was just like struck a chord because when she mentioned that she had been homeless and I was like, yeah, man, I know what that's like because that happened to me. I mean, I was staying on the floor of someone's house, but I mean, I was displaced and it was for a year and it was horrible, and it was amazing to see that she just talked so openly about the things that she talked about, and I give her a lot of kudos for that.
Yeah, that's
Can't
really
wait
cool.
to meet her. I hope to meet her one day.
Our last summer tour, we did quite a long tour with Michael Franti, and it was really cool. He actually inspired a lot of us to just be open about, all of our struggles, whether it's, anxiety or depression. I just feel like the more that I'm existing on this planet, the more that I realize that most of us, including myself, very much struggle with those things. And it's just nice to know that we're all in it together. Some people think, oh, it's because of my circumstances. If I was traveling, or if I had money, or if I played music all over, or if I had this hair or this body or this outfit, then I wouldn't feel these things anymore. But that's just not true. The more stuff that we get, the more, blessings that happen, the more I realize that we're human. And the last tour we went on is called the Stay Human Tour, or that was with Michael Franti. And,
right, I remember that.
And Trish started talking more about all the things that she went through, and it's just been great. It's just been, people have been coming forward and coming out and being like, a fresh of breath air. We're all in this thing together, and we all have each other to be able to work with. So.
Yeah, and that is wonderful because we are all human, and I mean, although sometimes we think we're superhuman because we do 50 things at the same time, but we're not. We're just
exactly
another vibration of cells roaming around the earth. So let me ask you this question. If you were to tell someone who's just looking to get into the business, what words of wisdom would you offer them?
The first and most important would just be stay genuine and real to yourself. If you get into the music thing for money or for fame or for material things, I honestly think it's going to be a huge letdown. But if you're into it as a spiritual movement, as your art, as an outlet, I think you'll go really, really far, and no matter how far you go, you're going to be doing it for your soul and your heart. Yeah, the people that jump into this thing that are just for the finances or just for the fame and the glory, seem to be the people that are struggling the most.
That's amazing. It's such a hard business to get into, to break into, and I feel like people get stuck or they get misguided, or they see things happening a certain way and they think that's where they have to follow stuff. And I think sometimes we just got to take a step back and think, look at the overall picture. I love what you said, though, because that is you to be, true to yourself and genuine and not get too full of yourself and to be easy going, and get along with the friends and get along with the kids at school.
Very true, very true.
Yeah.
And nowadays with Pandora and YouTube and Spotify, people just aren't really buying the albums anymore. So the other thing is, as far as finances go, there's a lot of sponsors out there that want to be involved in being on tour or have their product being on tour. And that would go back to being true to yourself too. Like, there's so many sponsors that would just want to jump in and jump on the board. But if you do decide to go with sponsors or financial help, just make sure those people are also people and their product, kind of represent what you're about. If it's a lifestyle brand, don't just take anybody's money or anybody's sponsorship just because it's there. I would really encourage people to find sponsorships, whether it's their spirit base or their lifestyle or whatever it is, to link up with those kind of lifestyle brands. And I think that really helps out a lot too.
Without a doubt. Absolutely. So let me ask you this. Are you ready for the 11-stroke roll rapid fire interview?
I believe so.
Okay. All right, here we go. Your favorite food?
Sushi.
One album that you cannot live without?
Oh, gosh, you got me here. I would have to, go with the classic HIRIE album, Wandering Soul.
Very cool. Something that none of your close friends know about you?
My close friends, I think, pretty much know most things about me, but I would have to say all my food allergies. Gluten-free, I'm dairy-free, soy-free. Most people don't know how allergic to or sensitive I am to food.
Has that been something that you've had to deal with your whole life, or did that just happen at a certain point in your life?
Yeah, most of it. I've had to go to naturopathic doctors and go on an elimination diet. Even now, I'm still realizing that there's certain things that affect me now that didn't affect me when I was younger. So it's just like a constant, changing of the diet to work with my, sensitivities or, what I need to keep on still growing.
And that's got to be pretty tough when you're on tour, huh?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I go to Whole Foods and I just stock up and I fill up a huge crate with all these Whole Foods, and it seems to do me pretty well.
Oh, that's cool. Is there one thing that you can never leave on tour without bringing with you? Besides your congas, that is.
Yeah, it would definitely be my Whole Foods. It'd be all my nutrition, whole food vitamins, nutrition. Honestly, if I don't have good food, whole food, I'm completely a different person. It affects, my emotions, it affects my sleep patterns, it affects everything. So that's the main thing, my big old crate full of nutritious foods.
It's got to be pretty expensive, because I know when I try to go buy all good stuff, I'm like, dang, it just cost me how much for vegetables, And it's not an inexpensive way to live. I mean, that's tough. I would think that part is
very, very tough, the expensive part of it. But, like I say, for me, not having to go to the hospital, not dealing with, common basic sicknesses very often, and just being a guy who's really stoked to be there, that's the food that's in my body. I can go without very much sleep, as long as I wake up and I have, a green juice or something that's whole, because that's the energy that boosts me up and makes me really love the struggle and love, not being able to sleep and love being crammed on a huge bus. For me, it's definitely about that nutrition. There's no price that would take that away of being in good spirits.
That's awesome. Who was the last person you spoke with?
Last person I spoke with was the person at the post office when I was just shipping out a bunch of merchandise. She ended up wanting to know what I was shipping out, and she wanted to get a couple of my stickers, and I just made a new fan just by talking to the post office lady, and she was going to put my sticker on her water bottle. It was great.
Free promotion. I love it. Your favorite travel spot?
It would have to be Indonesia and some of the primitive surfing islands outside of Bali.
Nice. Yeah, that's on my bucket list. What do you love to do when you're not playing or surfing?
Working out is my biggest addiction, whether it's yoga or lifting weights, or some days I'll run for 10 miles, or like a lot of times I'll just Google on my phone, like, nearest mountain. And I'll just drive to that mountain, and I'll put on my running shoes and put in my headphones and just get up there. And that's also like another big antidepressant. And, anytime I'm feeling like a little bit cooped up, because I also live in a school bus, a small school bus that I converted into my livable vehicle that I've been living in for quite a few years now, actually. And sometimes you get cooped up in a little space. You just need to get out and get fresh air, and like, working out and running are some of like the best things in my life.
I hear you on that. Actually, I just finished writing a book, which I'm turning into an audiobook. I talk about these different things, and it's because I can understand, dealing with anxiety, and I used to get, seasonal depression and, anxiety and all these other things that I was afflicted with that I have to keep in check. And I find that when you work out, that's one of the best ways to kind of get rid of it. And not that it goes away, but at least lessens things up a little bit and makes life a little bit easier. Because those endorphins and dopamine, gotta love it. So
it's amazing. It's the best drug in the world. Like, especially,
really
like I said, getting emotional or tears start welling up, and you get on that treadmill or you get in there and you really put all that angst and energy and, stuff that feels like it's real heavy, and sometimes it really is, but you can leave it all out on the floor. I leave it on the stage, I leave it on the mountain, I leave it in the gym, and the more that it affects me, the healthier I get. I'm like, I'm dealing with this mental issue right now, so I'm going to go out and get even more healthy, and it's like a win-win.
Right, it's like poo-poo on you. You're not going to get me, sorry. If you could come back on Earth as anyone, who would it be and why?
It would probably be an animal, like an eagle, and just to be able to have the freedom and like no rules. When you're hungry, you go catch your food. When you're ready to reproduce, you go reproduce. When you nap, you nap. If I could come back, I would hope to not be a human. Humans,
I hear you.
we have such an amazing, opportunity to do whatever we want, and sometimes it's just almost too much. And some of the most inspirational people that I've looked up to, when I finally meet them, I'm like, wow, you're just like me and just like the next person, and you're struggling with the same struggles, and it's just called, being human. So if I come back, I'd want to come back as, a black panther or an eagle or, some really cool, like, predatorial fish. I do like to hunt, and I like to be tribal, so I'd want to come back as, like, some kind of badass animal.
I love it. That sounds great. Car or motorcycle?
Depends on the car. I do like to ride motorcycles. If I had a motorcycle, it would definitely be a big old fat boy Harley. If I could get any car I want, I would definitely get, like, a Tesla.
Cool. They make them electric now, right?
Yeah. It's like one of the fastest cars, I guess, in the world. It's 100% electric, and they're like a badass car. So it's not like you're driving around in this little, car that you feel like you're going to get crunched or something.
Right. It's a pretty booming car right now. What would you say is your biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve, just right at the top of my head, is people driving the speed limit in the left lane. I really like to drive fast, and sometimes there's people behind me that want to drive faster than me, and just because I'm doing 90 doesn't mean that this person behind me needs to go have their baby or an emergency happen. I just feel like if everybody just got over to the right, we'd have a lot more efficient.
Life would be good.
Traffic.
I totally feel you on that one.
Yeah. And that's the pet peeve why people wouldn't, even when I'm driving, like I said, I like to drive fast, but if someone's riding close, we'll pull over real quick and let them on by. Versus, a lot of people just feel like they want to just stay in that lane and claim it. I don't know what's going on there, but for me, I'm like,
I don't know, maybe somebody told them that.
Whoever wants to drive the fastest, get out of their way.
Yeah, maybe somebody told them that, the slow lane is the left lane. I don't know. Make it a little
maybe.
So, who would you say is one of your favorite artists that you cannot live without?
Well, artist, I would say, just off the top of my head, it would be Alex Gray, but he's not a music performer. But Alex Gray, again, is like the spiritual, like, just amazing artist. Him and his wife do all these really cool paintings. I don't, off the top of my head, with music, I don't really have like a music one that I couldn't live without.
Okay, that's fair.
But I don't think I could live without Alex Gray.
Cool. And is he an American artist or?
Yeah, he lives in the States most of the time. He's just a really cool, like, he draws a lot of stuff like anatomically correct. He'll draw like lymphatic system and your vascular system, but it also deals with a lot of energy and all your chakras and everything too.
I have to look him up.
Yeah, you're gonna really like him a lot.
Amazing.
Like, amazing. Alex Gray, yeah.
All right. So I know you're a big fan of Instagram because, I mean, I love your posts and I'm always enthralled by what you put up there because it's always such fun, cool-looking places that you visit or everything that's going on in your life, and I love that. Can we share that with the drumsters out there listening?
Absolutely.
So that they can stay in touch with you?
I'd be stoked, yeah. And I honestly, I answer, I would say 100% of my DMs. So anybody that is going through anything, that wants to ask any questions, that just wants to say hi, like, I don't care who you are, I'm gonna write you back, and hopefully I'll always have that ability because, you know, it's pretty amazing. People are like, wow, you actually will write back. But for me, it's like, of course, like, why would I not? You know, so yeah.
I know, right?
I'm at Conga Kurty, Conga, and Kurty spelled Kurty.
Awesome. And if our listeners want to pick up some music, are you guys selling it off of your website? Are you guys on iTunes? Because I would like to put those in the show notes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. HIRIEmusic.com. You can get all kind of merchandise. You can get our albums. We just released a single a few days ago called She Go, and that is available for YouTube, and I think it's now on Spotify. The band, we plan on releasing a single every single month, all the way through tour as well, on the whole album, and they're all going to be with a music video as well. So the singles will be dropped, and there will be a music video, and our main platform is going to be through YouTube. And then, yeah, you can definitely get on iTunes and purchase our albums on there, Spotify, Pandora. You can put it on all the radio stations, and we're pretty much anywhere where you can stream music. And if we're not there, just write us a message and let us know, and we'll make that happen.
All right. Perfect. And speaking of tours, don't you have a tour coming up?
Yeah, we're pretty excited about it. It's called How Did You Spend Your Summer Vacation? Slightly Stupid is going to be the headliner. Modest Yahoo, Tribal Seeds, and HIRIE. And our first show is actually in June, and we're going to be going June all the way through the end of August. But keep a close eye on the dates, because with the tour, we're going to play like 3 or 4 shows a week. But with the HIRIE band, we're going to be playing the other 2 to 3 shows as our headliner shows in the surrounding areas. So those dates have not been added yet, but if you want to check out dates, definitely go to HIRIEmusic.com. All the dates with Slightly Stupid and Modest Yahoo and Tribal Seeds are on there right now, but we will be adding more dates as time comes. So if you see like a city close to where you live, just keep paying attention, because we usually book a couple little headliner shows every week as well in the surrounding area.
That's awesome. I'm going to make sure I put all that in the show notes and also in the vlog at www.littledrummergirl.com. That's LILDrummergirl.com. Well, our time is almost up. I want to thank you so much for being here, and I just enjoyed you so very, very much. Thank you.
Oh, you're a sweetheart. I really appreciate it too. Like, for you reaching out like you did, it definitely made me really excited to be a part of your show, and hopefully made a couple more people out there wanting to support and get into the scene.
Absolutely. And hopefully when you're back in town here in the Tampa, St. Pete area, please let me know, because I'd like to get some more footage, put more of your videos up there on the vlog. Okay,
sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you next time we're in Florida.
You got it.
All right.
And to you drumsters out there listening, thank you so much for joining us. It wouldn't be a show without you guys. But also, I want you to know that I have this audiobook coming up, and it's called 151 Musically Inspired Secrets to Master This Thing Called Life. And if you go to littledrummergirl.com, that's LILDrummergirl.com/book, you can sign up and pre-order it now, because it'll be coming out in a couple of months. So hopefully you grab a copy now, because I know you're going to enjoy it. Don't forget, it's never too late to begin to live the life of your dreams and leave it trailblazing behind you. So rock on and rock out, and I'll catch you on the flip side.